Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Proud Conservative Cam here again. It's not a headline from Truth. We're going to be reacting to a video. But first, before we get into any of that, I wanted to say congratulations to all my fellow conservatives, all my fellow patriots. We won. We won the election, so boom, the red tsunami was real. But now that we've got that out of the way, today we are going to be reacting to the video of the Supreme Court set to hear first case on trans medical bans for minors. Tennessee in 2021 set in place that they were going to ban medical care, transgender medical care for minors. And people are trying to get that overturned, or they're trying to sue the state of Tennessee, I believe. And now that court has gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. So that's what this video is about. But it is ABC News reacting to it. So let's get into this right away.
The Supreme Court is set to hear an appeal from transgender youths who say Tennessee's ban on their medical care is illegal. The court will consider whether a state law that bans puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery for trans minors discriminates on the basis of sex. The law makes it.
How does that discriminate on the basis of sex if it applies to both minors that are male and female? So everybody's covered. That it doesn't discriminate towards anyone.
Exceptions for minors who need the treatments for other reasons. The DOJ claims the law violates the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Tennessee's Attorney General argues there is uncertainty around the risks and benefits of transition care for minors. And as we look ahead.
So we know about the risks. There's many risks. For one, you can't pause puberty. That's going to cause everlasting problems. Prolonged use of the opposite gender's hormones. There's no long-term studies to show what that does to a person. So that can cause, let's just call that problems. The only thing I can think of is maybe cancer. The big C. I'm no doctor, but the wrong gender's hormones being pumped through your veins for, call it, 5 to 10 years sounds like that would give you cancer. The surgery itself, incredibly high complication rate, and comes with a lifetime of having to get checked up and maintaining all of that jazz. I'm not going to overly dive too deep into it because it's kind of gross, but yes, both sides, no matter what side you're trying to transition to, it requires maintenance. Let's just say that. It requires some motherfucking maintenance for the rest of your life. There's no upsides.
Head to Wednesday. State lawmakers are divided on the issue. Karen Aguilar reports from outside the Capitol.
It's a sensitive topic coming from along
the
Tennessee legislature. The impact of the Supreme Court's decision on transgender care for children, worrying parents on both sides. Transgender children are banned.
Oh, the Osiris's is wild.
Receiving gender-affirming care by law. This includes puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries. Advocates wanting to give them access to these treatments will be taking their fight to the Supreme Court on Wednesday.
You gotta be a weird motherfucker to want to fight on behalf of the kids so they can carve themselves up and take all these crazy drugs and crazy hormones.
State Representative Afton Bain tells me her constituents are plaintiffs in the lawsuit. She believes the ban is unconstitutional.
It directly ignores the rights of parents to make informed medical decisions about their child.
America, the only country where you can cut off someone's genitalia and call it healthcare. You heard it here first. They think it is infringing on the rights of the parents to be able to chop up their kid and pump them through full of the opposite gender's hormones. That's fucking crazy to me. And pause their puberty, even though we know that's not a thing.
Representative Todd Warner tells me children are too young for that type of decision.
Of course they are.
Child abuse. To me, at the age of 10 or 11 years old, I'm not sure they really know what they want to do.
He is
of course
part
they
of the
don't.
Tennessee legislature, Republican supermajority.
And I hate to keep pausing it, but he's absolutely right. It's way too young. I've even seen cases of people saying that their 5, 6, 7-year-old boy says that they're a girl. One, they either didn't say it, but the more likely case is that they did say it, and they just are saying things. You're talking about a person who has such a flimsy grasp on reality. They also think Santa Claus is real, and they think Power Rangers are real, and they think Ben 10 is real. This is the kind of grasp on reality that these people have. And even up to the age of 10, it's like you have a better grasp on reality. You don't think Santa's real. You don't think fictional characters are real, but you still don't understand really the world and the long-term effects of the decision that they're being allowed to make. It's like, keep it consistent across the board. Kids, you can't buy tobacco till you're 21. You can't drink till you're 21. You can't drive till you're 16. You can't vote or enlist until you're 18. So why do you think you can't get a tattoo or a piercing till you're 18 or 16 with parent consent in certain places, I think? But still, why are we not keeping this consistent? You shouldn't be able to chop up your own body or take drugs that we don't know what's going to do to you till you're at least 18 minimum. It's crazy work. It's definitely child abuse.
Who push for the ban.
As we were passing this law, a transgender who is now as an adult, regretted making that decision.
Bain tells me only a select few detransition, and it shouldn't stop transgender children from getting access to affirming care.
I'm super, how does one go about detransitioning? Because I know in the case of a man who wants to transition into a woman, for that surgery, they split you down the middle, kind of stuff you inside out, kind of a deal like that, super gross. And for the women who want to transition into a male, they take chunks of your arm, they take a fat ass chunk out of your arm and blast that into that. So it seems that maybe for a woman who transitioned to a man who wants to transition back to a woman, that may be a bit easier. But I'm just thinking, I don't even want to overly think about this, but I'm just like, how could you go about reconstructing the male reproductive organ after it's been split and stuffed? It's yeesh. That sounds terrible.
She believes the impacts of the ban are far worse.
It exacerbates harm for some of the most impacted teens in terms of mental health and suicidation.
In the case this ban is
Again, I have to pause it again. They're trying to stand on this argument that if these kids can't get these these puberty blockers, or these opposite genders hormones, or these surgeries, that they're going to kill themselves because they're depressed. Well, 9 times out of 10, they're depressed before and they'll be depressed after. So rather than making life-altering changes, you need to figure out what's wrong and causing this depression. Because if anything, ruining your body for the rest of your life is going to make the depression worse. I think we're going to have a whole wave of people unaliving themselves after they have gotten over this, whatever you call this trend that's making people do this,
deemed unconstitutional. What do you think the impact will be for Tennessee children?
I think it's going to be terrible.
The conservative-dominated Supreme Court, Bain says the outcome of having the ban overturned is unlikely.
I mean, it's heartbreaking. And I think, what's been challenging in this legislature and with, a Republican trifecta and an unelected activist attorney general is that they're celebrating the erosion of individual freedoms and liberties.
Listen here. Celebrating the erosion of freedom and liberty is such a bad faith thing to say. Like, yes, technically, is it limiting freedom on paper? For sure. We're not letting weird people ruin minors, for sure. But also, laws put in place to tell you can't drink alcohol in the street. Open container carrying in public is certainly limiting your freedom too, right? We as a society, we know what limits your freedom for the benefit of society. You're not allowed to go smoke crack on the street unless you're in San Francisco. You're not allowed to go drink alcohol on the street. You're not allowed to go pull a gun on somebody and rob them. You can do all these things, but you're going to have to face repercussions of doing so. The goal is to deter you from doing the thing. That's why you can, yes, certainly say it's limiting your freedom by putting laws in place, but it's like we know what should and shouldn't happen. And yes, as a parent, can you give your 10-year-old alcohol? For sure, but you shouldn't, and there's laws against it. Is that limiting your freedom? Technically, but come on now. It's such bad faith arguments from the left all the time.
Karen Aguilar with that story. And according to the CDC, an estimated 1.5 million people in America are transgender.
A whopping 1.5 million people are transgender in America. That's absolutely wild, considering the fact that real gender dysphoria is such a tiny, tiny, minute percentage that like doctors and professionals aren't even 100% certain it's real because there's so little clinically diagnosed cases of it. It's all trend these in this modern time. It's actually crazy to me. But yeah, these people on the left are absolutely crazy. Like, I'm happy that there's many states that are hopping on board. There's many countries as well around the world that are hopping on board with the ban. Out of 28 states that are controlled by conservative or Republican legislation, 24 of them ban puberty blockers, opposite gender hormones, and surgeries for minors. And then New Hampshire and New Hampshire and Arizona only ban surgeries. So there's a lot. 24, call it 26, have bans on transgender care for minors. New Hampshire and Arizona kind of need to catch up. I don't know why they're allowing the puberty blockers and the hormones, but they won't allow surgeries. But nonetheless, about 26 states out of 50 are kind of on the wave of this. Like not enough, nowhere near enough. We need to have this a state, countrywide thing. Yeah, it's crazy considering, in living in LA, I got to see how bad it was. I met parents who said that their kid in school could say something simple like, "I don't find Lizzo." This is verbatim what this person told me. He's told me that if their kid were to say something along the lines of, "I don't think Lizzo's attractive," big Lizzo, then they'd say, "Oh, well, maybe you need to start talking to your guidance counselor. Maybe you're gay because you don't like women. You don't like the way they look." And then from there, depending on what you say from that, they might immediately push you into your transgender, and now you need hormones or need to go talk to a shrink. It's like they're damn near hook, line, and sinkering these kids into thinking they're transgender. Like, this is what I'm hearing from parents in Los Angeles regarding their kids and the situation that's happening in the schools. It's crazy. It's crazy. These are the kind of crazy things they want to do to the kids, and I don't understand why. It's absolutely, absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. Let me know if you like these reaction videos and want to see more of them, more conservative content. But yes, if you like this, drop a like, drop a comment, share this video to a fellow conservative, fellow patriot, subscribe to the channel, and tune in for the next one.